like to eat my feelings. So what's going on, everybody? I'm Howard Bennett. That's right. I'm just sitting here eating my feelings of excitement. Welcome into Alarm Fantasy Football. I got me Andrew Cooper. He's over on this side of me right now. You always got to remember which side to point.
Yeah, it's the opposite way. You go, so you're here.
Yeah. All right, so Coop's over here.
That's a little behind the scenes.
Oh, no, he's not down there. He's up there. All right, over here, somewhere across the way. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Alarm Fantasy Football. It is our all trading show. You know you've got fantasy football trades on the table. You know you're out there like working those trade phones, making sure you can improve your team. Maybe you're 2-4 and you're looking to make a boost for the playoffs. Maybe you're 5-1 and you're like, and you're just kind of building up for the future. Whatever the case may be, put your comments into our chat. First off, hit like and subscribe. If you're on our YouTube page, like and subscribe, please. It's how we pay for our it's so how I can afford to eat my feelings on a regular basis there. But yeah, throw those comments into chat. Throw your questions into the chat. Trades, analyze. Maybe you made a trade. You want like somebody to hold your hand, feeling of approval. That's what it is. Coop, do you ever realize that? You ever realize that like some people they'll turn around and they'll just be like, all right, what do you think of this trade? And then they're like, all right, I just made it. I just wanted to see what you thought.
I already made it. Yeah. I honestly, that's what we're here for, though. It's like, even with the lineup questions, you guys, your family, right? You know what you're doing. But even I will turn to Howard. I'll turn to John and say, hey, man, what do you think of this trade? Who do you got ranked here? It's good to get a second opinion. That's what we're here for, man. You guys know how to play fantasy football. Sometimes you need a little second opinion on your trades, on your lineups, whatever. So get them in here and we'll tell you how smart you are. Or we'll be like, hey, you know what, dude? I like the thought, but I wouldn't do it. So get them going. Let's get it going. Crazy week this week. Doing the rankings this week. I was sweating. I was dying.
I mean, we sat there talking about the backfields yesterday, and then I went out to the Fantasy Alarm Show and talked backfields the entire time there. Britt Flynn joined me, and we were talking waivers, and the only thing we talked about were the running back situation. I was like, oh, yeah. Do you have any wide receivers that you're thinking about? Like, I mean, right. Such a crazy afterthought on that. And
it's so hard, man, because I pictured it's like a race, dude, where it's like you got all these hurdles set up where I go through and I'm like, okay, is this player good first and foremost? Half the time the answer is no, right? And then I'm like, okay, is his matchup good? Half the time the answer is no. Is his starting quarterback playing, right? You hit that hurdle and you fall right in your face, right? It's like you get through two of the hurdles. Oh, man. Yeah, by the time you get through the hurdles, there's like two good players this week. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
The Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Amari Cooper, Adam Thielen questions that I just keep fielding. And it's always like, I got to talk, we got to figure out your quarterback. Got to take a look at your QB here. Like, I mean, it's as uncertain right now as the running back position. So I guess the real question is did you guys get your waiver claims in last night? Did you get your players? If you didn't, what are you going to do about it? How are we going to fix your team? How are we going to trade? If you have waivers also tonight, like many of us do, what did you learn from waivers last night? I mean, Coop, if for all your waivers that processed yesterday, who was the name that you got? Like, is there a name that you got?
There is a name. In my biggest, most important leagues, I just went out and dropped bank on Kyler Murray. We didn't know he was definitively getting activated. Dropped $31 on him in my big league because you know what I did? When I did my draft, I did the dynamic tier QB. I did the yin and yang QB, and I took Anthony Richardson as my QB1 and Jared Goff as my QB2. Richardson went off. I said, I don't need Goff anymore. Man, I would love to still have Goff. So I've been starting in a 14-team league. I've been starting Baker Mayfield. Like, I looked at it and I was like, man, my team is good. I'm still in like third place. So I said, you know what, man, let me just take a shot at upside. And I mean, geez, talk about quick turnaround time. Like, talk about instant gratification that he's already activated. So, wheels up.
Activated from injured reserve. It opens up a 21-day window for the team to actually like add him to that roster. So listen, I think it's great. Obviously it hopefully improves the value of Marquise Brown and Michael Wilson. I don't know, maybe even some Zach Ertz in there.
Now, I want to tell you this. Kyler Murray, from his own Twitter account, tweeted one thing about an hour ago. 2 words, Howard. He tweeted, practicing today.
Love that.
Let's go.
Love that.
Dude. Let's go.
So for me, after like sifting through all the nonsense and trying to figure out, what was noise, what wasn't noise, I pulled back on bidding. I mean, I got Craig Reynolds in a couple of spots and didn't really pay much for him. I put the bid out for Zach Evans, but I also put contingency bids on both Royce Freeman and Darrell Henderson. Right. And right. So
I don't want to go crazy on that one. I didn't want to go crazy.
No, I mean, it's like, like single digit bids. I think I put 13 on Royce Freeman and one where I still had $100. So I was like, let me just, in case this happens and stuff like that. Like I didn't have, crazy needs, but I wasn't gonna overspend on question marks. Like that's it. Like are any of these guys that I'm adding, are they going to be right immediate starts for me, or do I like the guys on my bench a little bit better?
It's really a nightmare, dude, because like you would think that Elijah Mitchell would be the guy, but Jordan Mason looked good. So even one that going into the season, if you had asked me who the best handcuff was, I would have said, Elijah Mitchell. If something happens to CMC, then we're good. And that's just not how it always pans out, right? Like even with a situation like that, we don't know for sure. I'm kind of leaning Elijah Mitchell. What do you think, Howard? Are you Jordan Mason, Elijah Mitchell?
Christian McCaffrey's going to end up playing. I think he's going to play. I think he's going to play with a flak jacket.
So it's just a mess. Man.
We know that Shanahan's done this. Like a couple of years ago, was I talking to you about it, or was I talking to Mpemba about it? With or maybe I was talking to Britt. I don't know who I was talking to about it, but I was bringing up the fact that
you could have been talking to a wall in your house.
I was just
in the corner being like, what are you
looking at myself in the mirror being like, hey, you handsome devil. Did you know that a beat writer outed Kyle Shanahan a couple of years ago and specifically said that he said to the media, do not write about JaMychal Hasty. Oh, you are handsome. Ooh. Yeah. He said, don't write about JaMychal Hasty because I want to unleash him as a secret weapon in this game. And all the beat writers followed suit. And then finally this one came out like 2 or 3 weeks later and was like, yeah, we were told not to. Because, I mean, everybody was just like assaulting the San Francisco media. Like, where the hell was the talk about? And this one reporter broke. Was like, he's like, Kyle Shanahan told me not to do it.
And now that dude never heard another tidbit again.
Right, was never welcomed back into the locker room. So like with this kind of misinformation that we know that Shanahan's capable of that. Either McCaffrey's just wheels up and he's just going to go and he's just going to destroy the Minnesota Vikings, or it's a 50-50 split between Mason and Mitchell for me. I don't see it being leaning one way or the other. Mitchell, obviously the elder statesman, but I don't really know if he's like really, I mean, maybe 55-45 in his favor.
Could be. I mean, the thing is, and with this particular coach, the old hot hand Shanahan, you never know, because it could be 100. I wouldn't be surprised if either one of them just got all the work, because that's what this guy does, man. And then now you're seeing it with his proteges too. We've obviously seen Mike McDaniel be like, okay, this guy looks good, let's give it to him, but now DeMeco Ryans with the Texans, he's doing it too. We're Devin Singletary, right? Like, why? What are we doing? We had finally let Devin Singletary go. I had let him go. He was, I was like, you know what, it didn't pan out. And then I'm scrolling through the stats. I'm like, what the hell? Devin Singletary has like 100 yards rushing now. Like, what is he, the lead back now? It's just like that whole coaching tree. It's an interesting philosophy, the hot hand, but it's terrible for fantasy football. It's terrible.
It's horrible for fantasy football. I'm willing to bet that the Rams end up splitting the backfield 25% shares for each one of the 4 running backs that they're going to throw out there on the field. I mean, that is like that's the issue. Now, you can have analysts who turn around and say, well, I feel like it's going to be this. I think it could be that. Absolutely. But unless you have that direct pipeline into the team itself, and I already texted Jim Bowden. I was like, I know you're on baseball assignment right now, but start hitting your front office peeps and let's find out like if we can get any kind of clarity. So if I hear something, you guys will hear something. We'll take it that way. Want to pop into the chat for a couple of minutes. We're going to weave in and out of all of this news and all the news and notes. We're going to give you our buy low pick of the week. Hey, Coop's got one. I've got one. Our sell high for the week as well. And we'll make sure we give you guys a couple of underdog plays as well. So there's lots going on here, but I want to jump into the chat. Say hi to everybody who's in there. I got Skinny McKinney in here. Chef Nobby, what's up, guys? Already, right off the bat, should I offer Justin Fields and DJ Moore for Waddle? Boom.
Ooh.
Like I offer that for Tyreek before I offer it for Waddle.
Yeah, right, exactly. Waddle. I mean, Waddle and Moore. I love Waddle. I'm one of the biggest guys in Waddle, but I don't even know if it's that big of a difference. So no, I don't think I would do that.
You don't think you would do that? You're sticking with them Bears.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think so.
Like it. I mean, listen, I think it's a massive overpay just based on, unless for a fact that like Fields' thumb is like really out of whack.
Exactly. It is an upgrade for me. Yeah. Like if you don't believe Fields is going to come back, or who's your other quarterback? Like if you have another quarterback that you're just going to start every single week, then
yeah. What's the value there?
Waddle ahead of Moore.
That's a good question. Right. What's the value there? Like how much is Fields really worth to you? Because if his dude turns around and he's like, oh yeah, I got Patrick Mahomes. Well then, done, I mean, right, Fields is worth like the gum stuck to the bottom of my shoe right now.
Anything.
Hal's in the house. What's up, Hal? Smokey the cat. I love Smokey. He's one of my faves. Oh, I don't play favorites.
Gang.
I'm sorry.
That's gang,
up,
dude.
Smokey?
That's gang.
I'm on the betting show today also, so we'll talk. I need to talk about these spreads. It's crazy. What else we got here? J Money 201092. Right? Would you drop Tyler Algier for Craig Reynolds, Jordan Mason, or Elijah Mitchell? Running backs are Barkley, Stevenson, Ford, and Algier, with Monty and Kyron Williams.
Nah, don't do it. Just hold on to Tyler Algier, because what we think Craig Reynolds could be here is just slightly better than what you get from Algier. You're hoping he's not going to catch a bunch of passes. You're hoping he scores a random touchdown, right? But Algier, he's going to be doing that all year versus Craig Reynolds, who just goes back into the woods after David Montgomery comes back, right? So, yeah, I'm going to stick with.
And Algier is definitely guaranteed touches in this offensive system, more so than Mason or Mitchell. So, because we don't have any kind of clarity there, I mean, you could see what the tea leaves are saying come like Saturday, and maybe one of those guys are still there. But I probably would just stick with Algier as well.
Not to mention, think about all those other guys. The starting running back on the team is hurt, and we look at them and we're still like, meh. Think about what Algier is worth if a Bijan were to get hurt. Way more than those guys, right? So you got to keep that in mind. I don't even like thinking about it. Yeah, did somebody open a window? Cold chill. It's like in the movies where the ghost goes through you, right? And you're like, what was that, dude? I don't even mention Bijan getting hurt. Not in this atmosphere. So sorry, everybody. For
Here, my arm's sticking up. Macbeth in the theater, and everybody got mad at me. I don't know why. Hal wants to know, is DJ Moore, Najee, and Javonte Williams enough to get CMC and Mitchell if that's the only two running backs he's got in a 12-teamer? I mean, I would easily make that offer. Like, if you've got that depth and they need depth that desperately, like Javonte plays, he gets touches. Najee plays, he just stinks. And DJ Moore is like, everybody's like, Flavor.
If your team is Javonte and Najee Harris, I honestly think that you have a better shot of winning the league if you have CMC and just the rest of your team is off waivers. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're not gonna win with Najee Harris and Javonte Williams.
Shut up, man. So you know how many teams I've got Najee and Javonte on? I said Miles Sanders too.
Oh, right. Yeah, Miles Sanders killing me, man. I almost put Miles Sanders as my buy low just to see what you would say, but I couldn't do it.
Listen, you know what though? I probably would buy low on Miles Sanders right now.
I know the bye week, dude. It's like magic. They should put him in the hyperbaric chamber right now and leave him in there until next Friday and take him out and see if he's fixed up, man. The bye week, it's big, so I don't know. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
What do you mean you can't bring yourself to do it? Do it.
That's a free one. That's a free buy low, man.
Free buy low. All right. So Chris Wesley wants to know Tua TT. Oh, that's Tua T and then TL.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Chris. I'll get there. All right. So Tua, Tyreek, Olave, Montgomery, Mostert, Waller, Hall. What are all these names here, Chris?
Looks like a game.
Are you just bragging?
Looks like a pretty good team.
Are you just like you're just like sitting there and he's just like, oh, I'm just gonna walk in. I'm gonna drop my whole team into this chat.
Oh no. Oh wait, is that the guy? No, it's not even the guy that had the Fields trade earlier. Yeah. Hey, good team, man.
Right, good job. Stuff. I really like Musgrave for this week.
Yeah, Broncos, man. Justin Simmons. Stop with your
Justin Simmons nonsense.
I know. The Broncos have been so bad.
Terrible, dude. I think I'm just stacking Packers everywhere. I know I shouldn't because that's Murphy's Law right there, but I'll have one DFS lineup that's built like that. I will.
I mean, this week it's so hard to. You got to lean into the matchups this week because it's all a mess. So I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Smokey the Cat. He's got a trade in queue from a league manager. He wants Josh Allen and DJ Moore, but he gets Jamar Chase. He's got Burrow, but don't know if I should do it. I mean,
one QB league, do it, dude. Do it. I say do it, dude.
You say do it.
We don't know when Fields is going to get back.
It's true. We don't know when Fields is going to come back.
What do you think about the secret agent, man?
Thank you, Dustin. Listen, I didn't screw up the pronunciation for the rest of the day. That was fantastic. Because I kept saying secret agent man in my head.
I had Bagent so stuck in my head that even though, like, when you said, oh yeah, Bagent, and then the second time you said it, I didn't even know who you were talking about because I already defaulted back to Bagent in my head. But now I have it right. It's tough with those pronunciations.
All right. So one QB league, you're saying Allen and Moore, you get Chase. Do you get like a little something like a sweetener on that? Like, I know you don't really need it.
Yeah. I believe in Burrow. That's what allows the trade to happen in my mind.
Ethan Batterman says he's in a league that doesn't trade much, and it's the worst. You know why? I'll tell you exactly why your league doesn't trade much. Because you're playing in a league with everybody who just needs to win the trade, like needs to give you their garbage for your top player. Like that's when trading isn't popular in a league, that's usually the reason why, because everybody's trying to get over on the next guy. Like, that's why one-for-one trades don't work. I'm not going to give a wide receiver to Coop for a wide receiver in return, because basically what each one of us is saying is that your wide receiver that you're giving me is better than the one I'm giving you. And,
it's insulting, right? So, so the way to do it, you got to look at bye weeks, look at injuries, create a narrative for the trades. The other thing sometimes you got to do in leagues like that, go out and make a borderline meaningless trade if you can, because when people see, they get that notification, oh wow,
that is true.
Now they start thinking about it, man. So like, if you can, obviously don't trade just to trade. That's kind of collusion, just to go to your buddy and say, let's do a trade just to trade. But like, if you look at your bench and if you have a bunch of wide receivers, trade your worst one for some running back, anybody, right? Meaningless guys you probably drop anyway. And now everybody looks around, they're like, oh wow, look at Ethan. Ethan's trading. Maybe I should be trading, right? So sometimes you gotta stoke those flames.
Set it up. Like that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Just set it up with some like innocuous trade that doesn't really mean much. And then everybody would be like, well, why are you doing that trade? Well, I'm doing because I'm trying to just improve my team. Like, I mean, that's the what Coop.
Or look at that, dude. Look at that. We got info here. Right. Take it to the next level and lose a trade on purpose.
No.
And then people think
now you're pushing it. That's like you took the joke a little
I'm
too
kidding.
far.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, envelope went off the table.
Just sandbagging, like just being like, oh, Ethan doesn't know what he's talking about. He's making terrible trades.
Well, he says he could use some running back depth. Does he trade Achane or hold out that he'll come back and give him? He's 3-3 with first and second place on his schedule for the next 2 weeks. I mean, at 3-3, I don't mind trading Achane if you're going to get back value that's going to sit in your starting lineup immediately and is going to stay in your starting lineup. Like a guy who's going to play, like, if you're, like a DK Metcalf, if the person who's like, got Metcalf is like overloaded with wide receivers, like somebody that that you're just going to lock in each week.
Yeah. If you can get fair value for sure, but I don't know if you were 4-2, I'd say no, but if at 3-3, you're in no man's land. So you might have to trade.
Hal wants to know, what level of running back are you willing to drop for the high end Freeman? Devonta Freeman, is he back? Antonio Freeman, is he playing still?
I fell for Devonta Freeman like 7 times. Dude, Devonta Freeman, I couldn't give up.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 7 times, you're Andrew Cooper holding out.
The last year I drafted him in Scott Fishbowl, he literally didn't play. I was like, somebody will sign this guy.
So which Freeman are we talking about here? Why am I like?
Gotta be Royce.
I mean, that's the only Freeman I know. I mean, I'm not. I mean, you've got to be like dirt, disgusting grossness of running back to drop for Royce Freeman right now. Like,
yeah. We're talking like I would drop. One guy I might consider dropping that is actually rostered by people is maybe Samaje Perine. He only played like 9 snaps, so maybe you sit back and say maybe, but like who the heck are you even rostering that you can drop for?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Scampers, I was not talking to the flies. I was murdering the flies.
Scamp. Don't you know flies are on Tuesday? Tuesday show.
You had to see me here in the shed with like multiple hats. They're all like right here, right? And I'm like, bam, 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 bam. Like a ninja with that. It's killing me.
That's funny.
Anyway, let's get back in here. What's going on, FA boys? Bob Voitko in the house. I love Bob. Always a great dude. Jack Sensen says, grab Mason from my bench Monday night in case McCaffrey's a no-go. Yeah.
You
gotta. Yeah. I mean, you always have to have
that. Gives you the luxury. That gives you the luxury of waiting on McCaffrey, which is it's so valuable. It's so valuable.
Yeah. Or Mitchell. If Mason's not available either, Mitchell's
doesn't matter. Yeah.
One of those guys.
Any excuse to hold out hope for CMC playing. It's worth it.
Absolutely. What do I got here from what was that? Anfo, Foreman, Sutton, Gus, Zach, Evans need 2. What are you trying to set a lineup today?
Yeah, I know. It's so many injuries. Too many injuries to set lineups. But I will say Sutton is a lock for me.
Yeah, probably. In comparison to all these running backs. Yeah. I mean, you got to see if Roschon Johnson's going to be cleared from concussion protocol. You got to see who's getting all the practice reps and for the Rams right now. Like, these are not questions. Like, nobody plays for Jacksonville. Yeah. Nobody plays for New Orleans. Like, this is like you are diving into information. You are waiting on all of this at least until late Saturday. Like, hit me up on Twitter at RotoBuzzGuys Saturday night. I spend my Saturday nights on social media for you guys.
tomorrow is when we start. That's when we start doing start sits. But yeah, I mean, if you can wait till Friday and Saturday, that's going to be better for you. And not to mention on Sunday, right? We have shows from 9 to 10 right here with Britt and John. And then Howard and I go on Sirius from 10 to 11. And then John and I come back on here from 11 to noon. So you got 3 hours to ask us anything in the world you want. So we got you covered.
All right. In the chat here, Mateo Feo. Oh, Ugly Matt wants to know, does Coop dress up as Ben Affleck for Halloween?
Honestly, I have the blue shirt I was wearing yesterday looks just somebody took a picture of me wearing that and put it next to the Ben Affleck smoking a cigarette meme, and it kind of got me, dude. He kind of got me on that, but yeah, people don't know that I'm Ben Affleck. They just think it's so I can't go with them. Yeah. We're gonna do this year, Howard. We're doing me and my wife Kate are gonna be aliens, and our newborn Lainey is gonna be an astronaut. That's the plan. And also our dog's gonna be an astronaut too. So that's the strategy.
Okay, so you're gonna walk around your neighborhood pretending to have abducted a human child as an alien.
Yeah. Well, when you say it like that, yeah. When you say it like that,
hey,
yes.
You know what? That's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Jack Sensen wants to know also which of Miami's 2 backups this week is worth a shot. I mean, Jeff Wilson, we're being told by Mike McDaniel that Jeff Wilson is a full go. He's ready to go. Didn't have any kind of a setback. It's not why he wasn't there on Sunday. So he's ready to go. So him or Salman Ahmed behind our boy Raheem Mostert. I'm kind of leaning Wilson here.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, he has one job, to be an absolute battering ram. And with the situation with Tua, where they really do not want him running, not even doing QB sneaks. I think this year Tua has like 20 total rushing yards. Like if they get a goal to go situation, it could be Jeff Wilson time. That's the plan. That's what we're hoping for.
All right. Andrea Sizlowski in the house here. Debo for JT. I have Montgomery. I lost. So giving Debo, getting Jonathan Taylor. Her RB2 right now is Gus Edwards or Jordan Mason. I'm doing this deal.
I kind of like the deal regardless of the rest of the info. Like, I think Debo for JT is a pretty fair trade. And Debo's kind of nicked up too.
Debo's a little nicked up right now. I'm not really so much worried about that. What I'm really, what it's about is the performance of the Colts this past week. And that was just, that to me is going to turn Shane Steichen into we should run the ball more. we should not be putting the ball into Gardner Minshew's hands for as much as we were doing.
Very true. Yeah, it's tough matchup versus the Browns, but it's JT's only going to go up and up and up.
That's a long-term play. I like that. M. Rojas in the house here. I need a running back, and the Bijan owner is willing to sell. Oh, geez, there it was again. A spirit just walked right through me. His RB room: Damian Pierce, Tyler Algier, Jerome Ford, Spears, Hubbard. I can trade one of my wide receivers: Cooper, Nakua, Jacoby, Tank Dell, Diggs, CeeDee Lamb. Who should I offer? I mean,
this is a 0 RB team that still has 0 RBs.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's gonna probably cost you either Diggs or CeeDee. I mean, I wouldn't want to give up either one of those guys. Technically speaking, I would try to give Nakua. Like I would try to give Puka. Amari Cooper is definitely a possibility. Package them up with Jerome Ford or Chuba, or Pierce, Ford, or Hubbard. I'd give up either one of those 3 guys also.
Literally any running back in Nakua if you could do it.
Except for Algier, because if you're going to get Bijan, you're going to want his handcuff.
I'm comfortable starting any of those 5 wide receivers. So you're just trying to give up the cheapest one possible. And if push comes to shove, I think I would do CD straight up for Bijan.
Right, there you go.
I think I would do it.
Beautiful. Najee, Javante, Achan, Roshan, Jeff Wilson Jr., Ahmed, Chase, Olave, Ridley, Rice, if I can get CMC.
I mean,
all right. So that's what the rest of it all looks like there. Najee, Javante,
yeah, that's
Achane coming back.
Oh yeah, so they'd be gone. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, again, get CMC by any means necessary if those are your running backs, and then figure the rest out later.
Rex Timotheus in the house. What's up, Rex? Good to see you, brother.
There he's Rex.
Like I want to look at everybody. I want to see you all and your beautiful smiling faces, but I do have to look at the chat here. 12-team PPR Superflex was offered around 12 spears for my around 12 spears for my round 17 Bryce Young. Spears would be a depth add for this year. No idea for next year. Currently have Hurts as my primary quarterback keeper. So Superflex, Bryce Young, Tajay Spears.
I keep right quarterbacks of any starting quarterbacks are too valuable in Superflex, especially if you can keep them for 17. You know, round 17, you just got to keep the quarterback, man. Keep the quarterback.
Yeah, keep him. What's that? Pranav Parthapati. There we go. I don't know.
Pranav.
Listen, I'm very, very sorry. All right.
Let us know the pronunciation in the chat, and we will get it right moving forward.
There you go. Trade Garrett Wilson away for Devonta Smith, or should I trade for Chris Olave? I would much rather have Devonta Smith than Chris Olave right now.
Agreed, 100%.
Even though Julio Jones is now with the Eagles.
Oh no, not worried about it.
Me neither. Gabe the Babe in the house. What's up, Gabe? Good to have you here again. What are some good buy low running back targets that can help me later on in season? I gave away Kamara for Devontae Adams, and now I've got a surplus of decent wide receivers to flip in Nico, Pittman, Amari, London. Picked up Hunt on waivers. Well, listen, I think that this is a perfect opportunity here, Coop, for us to jump into who our buy low, sell high favorites are. The only funny thing about it is that you and I have nothing but wide receivers on our list. So now we got to look at who are potential buy low running backs. And for me right now, I'll say this, because I've been talking to a friend of mine constantly back and forth about it, and he's looking to acquire Breece Hall right now while Breece is on the bye week. I think guys like Breece Hall on a bye, I think Joe Mixon is a guy who I think
Mixon's the first name that came to mind.
I think that's a great buy low for me on that front there. I think Jonathan Taylor is a rock solid buy low as well.
Yeah, well, we mentioned for Mixon, first name that came to mind for me. Another one, Miles Sanders, potentially we talked about earlier. Also, I'm kind of coming around on the idea that Alexander Madison's just going to be the guy. Like he's just going to be the guy, and especially if you can wait, he has a pretty tough matchup this week going up against the 49ers. So if he has kind of a down week this week, he might be even cheaper. So those are kind of the guys I'm looking at. It's easier to turn things around as a full-time back, especially on an offense like the Bengals, right? Like if the Bengals get back up to being the Bengals, then Joe Mixon doesn't even have to be good. He just has to be there, and he just has to be playing. So it's easier to do that than it is to be a part-time guy that all of a sudden just becomes like a full-time guy. So I like buying the full-time guys that aren't really producing at the level. What I want to ask you about, Howard, that I'm on the fence about is Rachaad White, because he is a full-time guy, but I'm just not sure that they're ever going to be able to become a team that runs a lot. Does Rachaad White fit that group, or is he? I don't know if they're going to turn
low
around.
end. You know what in all honesty, I would rather buy low on Jerome Ford because he'll cost you nothing. And coming up, the Cleveland schedule is significantly better. Like I said this when Nick Chubb got hurt. I said Jerome Ford is somebody you want to take a look at. His next 3 weeks of matchups are terrible, but after that, he's got a very, very strong possibility. So I said if you can withstand all the Kareem Hunt anxiety that you're going to get, and Kareem Hunt just got into the end zone on this last one, I still believe in Jerome Ford, and I would go after him probably faster than I would go after Rachaad White, because I'm with you. I don't see Tampa Bay ever kind of getting over that hump. I don't see Rachaad White ever being more than like 50 to 60 yards and a touchdown. And that's I feel like that's his ceiling.
Right, because you got to create a narrative, right? Joe Mixon, the narrative is the Bengals can be a better team. Miles Sanders, the narrative is he's been playing with a hurt groin. He's coming off the bye week. He should be good. I have a hard time creating a narrative for Rachaad White of what's going to change, right? Like what's going to change to make him better. So yeah, I wouldn't put him in that group.
All right. We'll come back to the chat in just a second here. We did have an entire segment planned for you guys. Well, it's not really a huge segment. Just buy low, sell high candidates. Coop and I each have a favorite buy low. We each have a favorite sell high. Ironically, we just went into the wide receiver position. So, Coop, I'll start with you. Who is your favorite buy low wide receiver right now?
Yeah, so my favorite type of offense to target right now is honestly the ones that use the fullback, right? So when you use a fullback, you're taking a wide receiver out of the game. The third wide receiver doesn't play. And we love Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. We love Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. There's another situation going on right now where we're getting that exact thing, and the wide receiver is producing, and everyone seems hesitant to move him up in the rankings. I went over to, some of the ECR rankings that are out there that are kind of aggregate. And my guy here, Jacoby Myers, there's people are still ranking him at like wide receiver 35, right? Wide receiver 30. And even in the weekly rankings, I see it, and he's not top 24. Some people have him around 20. I mean, this guy is a borderline wide receiver 1 so far this year. He's like wide receiver 13 in PPR. And because they use Jakob Johnson, because they use the 2 tight ends with Austin Hooper and Michael Mayer, Hunter Renfrow doesn't play. Right, these other guys are not a threat at all. It's just 2 guys. It's Devontae Adams and it's Jacoby Myers, and then it's the running back. And I guess Michael Mayer could do a little bit, but for me, I look at Jacoby Myers, and even though every time people ask start sits to anyone, they say start Jacoby Myers. Nobody wants to rank him like a guy that is in that realm. So for me, I'm going to go out and try and pay if I can get him for wide receiver 2 prices. That's not even buying low necessarily, but I think he's easily a wide receiver 2 this year. And I look around, and we've seen years with like Hunter Renfrow finishing as a wide receiver 1. Why can't Jacoby Myers? So I don't know. I believe in him.
I love it, man. Listen, I use Jacoby Myers in several leagues, several PPR formats. I mean, the dude just gets mad targets, and he's a very reliable, clean route runner, good solid hands, who's willing to, go up in traffic and make that play. So yeah, I love that for Jacoby Myers. I don't have as detailed an analysis as Coop does, but what I do have is I have hundreds of people emailing me on the regular with trade talk and wondering about this and wondering about that. And the one thing that I've seen is that nobody is selling T. Higgins at fair value. I mean, and when I say fair value, I mean like what his value really is. People are willing to give away T. Higgins right now.
Right.
I don't know, maybe like offer up a bag of footballs at a jugs machine, right? Maybe that's what it'll take for you to get it. But I believe in Joe Burrow. I believe in the Bengals. The rib injury was annoying for Higgins these last couple of weeks. Burrow's calf was annoying for the first couple of weeks. It's only week 7 right now. Can you imagine walking in with the tail end of your playoffs with a healthy Joe Burrow and a healthy T. Higgins in there? Come on. People are giving them away. So buy low.
That's what I'm saying. And the value, the thing is with guys like that, sometimes you do have somebody pop out of the woodwork behind the player that says, oh, you know what? Well, what happens when he gets back? What about Puka Nacua or whatever? Trenton Irwin's doing nothing. Tyler Boyd is Tyler Boyd, and he will always be Tyler Boyd. And Irv Smith Jr. is invisible. So, like, why? T. Higgins is going to walk right back into being T. Higgins. So, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Couple of buy lows. How about a sell high, Coop? Who are you selling?
People don't like this one. People are not going to like this one. And it's a guy that I actually wasn't drafting at ADP either, but it's Chris Olave. And I look around, not only does he have the toe issue, which toe issues in this league, they don't go away easily. You can't just kind of take a week off from using your toe when you play football, right? So that already is a problem for me. And I look at Michael Thomas, who's getting 9 targets, Rashid Shaheed, who absolutely deserves more targets and finally played more, Alvin Kamara, who's always going to get his targets. And they seem to want to, even with Juwan Johnson out, which he will be back eventually, they seem to want to throw to Taysom Hill and these guys. So if the ball is going to be spread around, then I want to take the most expensive asset from that group and see if I can sell it before people look around and realize, like, hey, this guy in the last couple of games has 2 2 out of 3 games have been terrible, right? And now he's got this toe coming up here. So yeah, Chris Olave is a guy where I think there's still so much name value attached to him that you can really get a lot back for what you got, right?
Ditto on that with DeAndre Hopkins. That's my sell high guy right now. Hopkins coming off a couple of games. We've seen some good targets. He's seen it, it's the notoriety, right? It was like this phenomenal game. And then there was a London game where you saw Hopkins make these a couple of really good catches, regardless of what he finished with as far as the stats. Everybody believes in DeAndre Hopkins before they start thinking that, well, damn, we just don't have a quarterback here, or find some Will Levis truther out there who actually believes that Levis is going to be, taking, snaps this year. Whatever the case may be, DeAndre Hopkins, I think, follows that suit there with Chris Olave, like Coop said, name recognition. It's so funny when you're dealing with new fantasy players and, whatever. I mean, sucks to take advantage of somebody. No, it doesn't. They should do their due diligence, but make that offer and let that name kind of just pop, right? It's all of a sudden it's gleaming at them. DeAndre Hopkins, yeah, I'll take that.
Right. And honestly, you're not taking advantage of him. The guy had a 140-yard game the other day. He could do that at any time for somebody else because, I mean, we've seen that he's clearly not 100% healthy this year, and neither is Tannehill now. So, yeah, if you can trade DeAndre Hopkins to people who think he's still DeAndre Hopkins, then go ahead and do it.
All right. There you go. That's our buy low and our sell high picks for the week. You guys can find other, hot takes from Coop every Monday morning. All of our takes over at fantasyalarm.com. And if you don't subscribe to fantasyalarm.com, do it now. This is the time. We've got a very, very cool offer going on right now. fantasyalarm.com/lock. Promo code LOCK. All right. It takes $100 off of the annual subscription. So you're paying $187.18 up front. I know it's a little chunk of change, but it brings our $40 a month all pro package down to $16 a month. It's a ridiculous discount. fantasyalarm.com/lock, promo code LOCK. You heard it right here from me and Coop. Before we get back, what you got?
I want to say, is the promo code LOCK because our MMA guy Mike is taking down every single.
Did you see that again?
Is it headlock? Is it the headlock? That's what's going on there. Because he's crushing, man. He's crushing. We got the best NASCAR rater of the year. I mean, you already like us for football, but I mean, go look at what Matt Sells does for NASCAR. Look at what Mike does for MMA. Yeah,
dude, our hockey guys, Dewhurst and Murray and Josh Wagner are crushing it already, and the season's just started.
I'm in first place in my hockey league, and my research was literally just pull up the guide and just go straight off it. So
it's a great deal. And what that does, again, it's a year's subscription. So it takes you in. So you're talking about if you play fantasy baseball, it includes the draft guide and all the pre-baseball work that we do there. It also includes next year's fantasy football draft guide, right? And all the coverage right through week 7 of the year of the football season next year. So listen, it's the biggest no-brainer in the industry right now. You see it right there on the screen. Do yourself a favor. And make that happen. We'll get a QR code coming up for that at some point as well. Want to give a shout out here real quick to our sponsors at Underdog Fantasy. Pick'em contests are killing it. Their drafts are so much fun. I love the platform. I love the format. The Pick'em contest, if you guys haven't done it, it's simple. It's take a player, their stat line. You're going higher or you're going lower. Pick anywhere from 2 to 5 players. The more players you pick, the more money that you can get. And here's the deal. fantasyalarm.com/underdog, promo code alarm. They're going to do an instant match deposit for your first time deposit up to $500. Just letting that marinate for a second there. $500 on your first deposit. So fantasyalarm.com/underdog, promo code alarm, instant first deposit match up to $500. And you know what? Because we're such menches here, we're such great guys, we're going to give you a couple of plays to pair with their 100K Sunday contest pick, Marquise Hollywood Brown, 64.5 total yards. I love this matchup here against Seattle. I think this is another one that could kind of get a little crazy here. Marquise Brown, 64.5 total yards. Cooper, you going higher or lower?
I like higher on that. I like higher on Marquise Brown. He's been dialed in. Guy plays every snap for that team. So yeah, give me Marquise Brown.
Absolutely. I think,
especially if Kyler's
I like
back.
higher as well. I also like the higher. Now, not a lot of these stat lines are listed right now. They're still kind of adding them to the week. So the one that I saw that immediately caught my eye, it stays in this game against Arizona. It's Kenneth Walker. Half a rushing or receiving touchdown. Higher. Walker's getting in the box. Yeah. What's your pick, Coop?
Yeah, he's the chalk. I have him as my RB1 this week in all formats. An argument could be made for Eckler, but I keep thinking about what you said about him not getting as many targets, and it's kind of been the case a little bit. So Walker, RB1 across the board for this week. There it is. Mine, this is going to be blasphemy to people that have followed me for years now. People on the wagon, especially last year where he was our savior. But Evan Engram this week. He not only has a nicked-up quarterback, might be playing with C.J. Beathard, but doesn't really matter who the quarterback is because this Saints defense is nails against the tight end. It's not just one guy. Some teams have one guy, and sometimes you can get away from him. It's Demario Davis. It's Tyron Honey Badger Matthew. Like, you cannot escape over the middle. It's a terrible matchup for tight ends. So Evan Engram, they're set at 41.5 yards. I'm going to go lower. Now, in your redraft leagues, you got to hold your nose and start them because there's not too much out there. But this is how you hedge that kind of situation, is that you're just hoping he gets a touchdown. It's just not a good spot for him. So give me the lower on my boy, my favorite player, literally my favorite player. If I'm willing to go lower, then you should be going.
All right, so there you go. Again, shout it out to Underdog Fantasy. Marquise Hollywood Brown, higher than 64.5 total yards. Evan Engram, lower than 41.5 receiving yards. Kenneth Walker, higher than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. Pop it in there. Do yourselves a favor. Make a little money there on that one. Again, fantasyalarm.com/underdog. Promo code ALARM. Instant first-time match deposit up to $500. Well, Coop, again, we're running short on time, so I'm going to go through the chat here and see if we can't help people out. So let's do it. It doesn't have to be rapid fire, but we want to make sure we get everybody's questions in here. Derek wants to know thoughts on this trade. Send Kelsey, Ridley, Madison. Get Eckler, Hollywood Brown, Cole Kmet. My other tight end is Laporta. So it's basically it's a 3 for 2 where you're giving up Kelsey, Ridley, and Madison, and you're getting Eckler and Hollywood Brown.
I like the trade, though. I would see if you could get a different asset than Kmet. Laporta is so locked in for me that I would just pick up whoever's on waivers for Laporta's bye week. Kmet's not an asset you're really going to use. I like the idea of getting rid of Kelsey because you have Laporta, but you don't need to get a tight end back in that deal. So do the deal if that's what the deal is and there's no change to it. But I'd see if you could weasel another relevant asset that's not a tight end in a 2-flex league. So I like the trade, but see if you can tweak it a little bit.
Smoking the Cat wants to know Najee and Gibbs to get Hawkinson. He's got Muth.
Muth is so tough to trust, man. He wasn't doing much even when Deontay Johnson was out. I think I would just stick with Hawk.
Yeah.
Stick with Hawk.
To
get Hawk. Oh, geez. Yeah, I mean, Smoke, we need to know who your other RBs are.
Yeah, if you can give away those guys to get Hawkinson, I mean, you have to have like 2 or 3 rock solid backs sitting on your roster still.
For sure. Yeah, if you're loaded at RB, then do it. It just feels like a lot for a tight end, and I'm a tight end guy.
Jared Moore, master of the video arts. Jared Moore wants to know, right? He did such a great job with the video for Britt Flynn's. If you guys missed it, go to @FantasyAlarm on Twitter and go find Britt Flynn's cover of Don't Stop Believin' with a fantasy football spin on it. It was absolutely fantastic. And Jared Moore did some great video work in there that I absolutely loved.
He did a presentation at the FSGA on video and stuff. And man, I learned a lot, dude. And I work with the guy. sitting there. I'm like, why are you keeping these secrets from me?
So he's got a general question here. How important are stacks in deeper leagues? I want to get Diggs in my dynasty league to pair with Allen. I don't think they're important at all. I mean, if
merely a tiebreaker.
If you can for, a reasonable cost, then sure, then fine. But like, that's the thing is that, so many people are jumping in on these pairings and stacks and season-long fantasy. If the team craps the bed that week, you're screwed, right? If like Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs don't have a party, that week, then what's your team doing? So I don't think it's necessary at all. It's a bonus if it happens, but not necessary.
Yeah, it better be like they say, it better be a locked in wagon situation, right? Like, because if you have that down week, you're smoked. Like the same thing with even like Devonta Smith. Like, he just has these horrible weeks every once in a while. In the playoffs, you got to win 3 times in a row. You need consistency.
Yeah. All right, Chris Wesley's back in here. He says, sorry, he was trying to finish the comment question, and it was submitted by accident. 2 weeks ago, he made the trade, traded for Breece Hall, gave up Jahmyr Gibbs and Jordan Addison. Wants to know if he should be looking for a wide receiver in a deal. So I know he had Tyreek Hill. Scrolling all the way to the bottom here, see if I can find it. Balls.
Yeah, there it is. Team's right there.
Great.
I got it. I put it on the screen. It's Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, Dave Montgomery, Mostert, Waller, Breece Hall. No, you don't need to go crazy because you got Nico Collins, Chris Olave, and Tyreek Hill. You'll be all right, man. And you got KJ Osborne, whose value just got a huge boost. Yeah, no, I think you're all right, man. I think you did a good job.
Yep. I'm with you. I shared my team with y'all for the Fields Waddle trade, by the way. Okay, thank you. Let's see. Kyle Mersola in the house here. What's up, Kyle? Good to see you here in the room. I see you on Discord all the time. Here we go. I have Mitchell, Craig Reynolds, and McLaughlin on my bench. Algier is available on waivers. Should I pick him up and drop one of those guys? I mean, is that like,
if you're not,
I would do it for Craig Reynolds after this week, maybe.
Yeah. If you're not starting Craig Reynolds this week, then do it. That's it. So he says he has Craig Reynolds on his bench. Yeah. If you're not starting Reynolds now, then do the trade. Then do the flip, because when are you going to start Reynolds if you don't start him now?
That's the thing. If you're not going to start Reynolds this week, then you might as well make that move there. I don't know why Hal says Bender Buzz Killington on Halloween. What's up with that?
Oh, because my alien family costume. Right. He said I was kidnapping my kid.
Why? Come on! I just think it's given. I think it's given aliens a bad name, right? Everybody's all still talking about anal probing as if that's really a thing. And aliens are sitting there; they're looking down on us, and they're like, "Dude, they think that we like a little like tush play. That's not us." Meanwhile, they're watching 11 grown men in green uniforms with a big giant tush push on the regular, and they're cheering that on. But they're complaining about our anal probing. Can't give aliens a bad name.
Aliens are pro Eagles. Yeah, aliens are pro Eagles. I'll tell you what. Just know that we're friendly aliens. Okay,
there you go.
Friendly.
Would you trade Barkley for Ayuk and Achane? I've already got JT, Breece Hall, Mostert, Hill, St. Brown, Myers, Hopkins. Yes, I think I would. Ayuk and Achane.
Yeah. Right. I mean, with Achane's healthy, he's literally the best running. He is the highest scoring point per game running back in the league when healthy.
And it just locks you into that Miami backfield. It locks you in there.
Yeah. Fredo with the Twitch gang, dude. Twitch glasses out. Where's the Twitch gang been today, dude? Twitch gang's getting crushed by YouTube today. Fredo's the only one holding up his end of the bargain here, getting the Twitch glasses out, dude. Where's Twitch gang?
I knew.
Let's see what you guys got. Let's hear from the Twitch gang.
My heart. Here we go. How high are we on Devonta Smith? Like, I mean, am I smoking it? No, yeah, I guess. Is it worth to give away Garrett Wilson for Oh, yeah, I think we asked this one. We answered this one already. Yeah, I'd do it. Yep. Garrett Wilson for Devonta Smith? Yep.
Do it.
Rex says, Howard, if we could all be in camera, you'll see a bunch of other Marines jumping on the screen, telling and cramming because they're on camera like children.
Get them
Semper
in, dude.
Fi,
Call
baby.
in.
Bring them on here. I'll do a full friggin' Zoom with your whole platoon for crying out loud.
Yeah, honestly, should we get Rex a link just for a quick little couple minute segment, dude? Get the boys going?
We're gonna have to. Rex, email me, rotobuzzguy@gmail.com. Rex, send me an email. Let's get you and your platoon in here for like a whole episode. Absolutely.
We'll get you on for a little bit.
All right, couple of minutes to go here. Trade Zay Flowers for Deontay Johnson and Hawkinson.
Immediately, dude. Immediately do that. For sure.
Robert Flores, if this isn't the forum, that diet has been killing you. Definitely look. Oh, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that, Robert.
Look at you, man. Yeah. Crushing, dude. You're going to fit into your ballerina costume for Halloween. I know it.
I have a jumbo-sized ballerina costume. What are you talking about? I buy one every single year as I grow and I go back and forth. Half point PPR.
You bust out the old ones from like 10 years ago.
Hurts, AJ Brown, Lamb, Stevenson, Taylor Swift, Andrews, Taylor Swift. I said it. You can put the hashtag in right now there, Heather. Yeah.
There it is.
London, Pittman, Mixon, Engram. Anything I should do or trade? I mean, you're kind of heavily invested in Eagles. You might want to soften that hold.
I was gonna say, dude, Swift is a guy that every week he looks fine. He looks good, he's fine. But like, for some reason I feel like we're gonna get disappointed there some way, one way or another. So Swift is a guy I don't necessarily fully believe.
Yeah, I'm with you. Trade Olave for Christian Watson and McLaurin.
If they both go in your starting lineup, that Chaka with that picture. Have you ever seen the movie Land of the Lost with Will Ferrell?
I used to watch the show Land of the Lost on TV, the original. I know exactly who Chaka is.
Chaka, dude,
Ben Stiller was hysterical as Chaka. He was hysterical.
Yes, dude. So good, dude. Chaka, man. That movie was like bad, but at the same time, I laughed out loud like 10 times. So is it a bad movie? Is it a bad movie? Yes, but
you can sing a song from a chorus line right now, can't you?
I don't know if I can.
The music that they play in that forget it. Buy low, sell high here. Would you trade Hopkins for Higgins? I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
100%.
That's exactly what we
100%. Exactly. How excited should we be about Kyler Murray's return to practice? Very.
Yeah, I'm way too excited. If you're as excited as I am, then you are too excited. But you're allowed to be excited. He's going back through time, all-time quarterbacks, he's top 5 in fantasy points per game. Say what you will about his leadership or whatever, but when he plays, it's fantasy.
All right, we're running out short here. Here we go. Real quick. Buy low on JSN. Don't expect anything this year. Just going to be a fan. Yeah, that's great, Chris.
Yes.
Give away Drake London and Tajay Spears for Jahmyr Gibbs.
No.
There you go.
We like London.
That's going to do it for us here today. Guys, again, catch up with Coop on the live stream tomorrow right here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page. We're all over the place here. FantasyAlarm.com is where you need to be. For Andrew Cooper, our producer, Heather Klein, thanks so much. I'm Howard Bender. We'll catch you next time.